Developing right now on Morning News Now, Mother Nature showing no mercy. This morning, another round of severe storms putting tens of millions of people at risk from the south to the Midwest. The threat is far from over. We're tracking the conditions, the dangers, and when we could see some relief. Also this morning, all talk, a highly anticipated call between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin ends without a breakthrough. Russia continues its attacks more than 3 years after invading Ukraine.
I said, when are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath? It's a bloodbath. And I do believe he wants to end it.
What we know about that call and Mr. Trump's separate conversation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Plus 23 and uncertainty. This morning, new questions about the data collected by 23andMe. Pharmaceutical company announcing it's buying the genetic testing company, what users need to know. And go get some fresh air, the new evidence that shows the power of outdoor activities on our mental health. Good morning, good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off this morning. Many people are going to need to stay inside today, taking shelter with more deadly storms sweeping across the midsection of the country. Since last Thursday, these storms have spawned more than 100 tornadoes, and the threat continues today. This morning, 37 million people in the Mississippi River Valley are at risk for more extreme weather. That includes tornadoes, hail, and destructive winds. The National Weather Service says at least 7 tornadoes have touched down in North Texas over the past 2 days. The powerful winds damaged buildings, uprooted trees, and knocked out power throughout the area. In hard-hit St. Louis, thousands of buildings were damaged during Sunday's storm, but cleanup efforts are going to have to be put on hold as more severe weather is expected to hit the area today. And you can see the extensive damage in Kentucky, where entire neighborhoods were nearly flattened by tornadoes over the past several days. This morning, people there are preparing to take cover again as they brace for more wicked weather. Meteorologist Angie Lastman is standing by with the forecast. But first, NBC News correspondent Kathy Park has the latest from London, Kentucky.
Good morning, Joe. Overnight, several confirmed tornadoes were reported in Nebraska and Oklahoma, and unfortunately, portions of Kentucky are back in the bullseye again for more severe weather. Here in London, Kentucky, this is the aftermath of a likely EF3 tornado with winds of more than 135 miles per hour. You can see the damage literally stretches for miles. Yesterday, we saw homeowners coming back, volunteers pouring in, salvaging what they could, placing tarps on homes that are still standing. But officials are urging residents with more storms on the way, and if they are in the path of more severe weather, to have a plan in place, have a safe space, especially if you will be at home. Remember to avoid windows. If you have a basement, head there. That's what one family did. They headed downstairs and they made it out alive. But unfortunately, as you can see, this home has been completely destroyed.
Thankfully,
Joe?
they're okay, Kathy. Thank you so much. Let's get to NBC meteorologist Angie Lastman. She's tracking where this latest round of storms is heading. Angie, good morning.
Morning, Joe. We've had already an active morning, and we've got more of what Kathy was just mentioning on the way for later today. One good news is we just saw this tornado watch expire across parts of the Ohio Valley, but we do still have this thunderstorm watch across parts of Arkansas here, at least through 8 a.m. Central Time. This line of thunderstorms has been pretty robust since the early hours in the morning, but notice this rain wraps all the way back up into parts of the upper Midwest, and it's kind of going to be rainy for the upper Midwest and across the Great Lakes, and then the Ohio and Tennessee valleys are where we're going to see that cold front kind of sliding through as the day goes on. The biggest risk that we're looking at, Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky. As we get into the afternoon hours, we'll see some of that severe weather potential ramp up. I'll show you the exact location in a moment, but looking ahead to tomorrow, all that moisture slides into the Northeast and parts of the Mid-Atlantic, as well as the Great Lakes. It's going to be kind of rainy for folks as we get into tomorrow and potentially into Thursday as well. You can see this kind of just hangs around with this low sitting offshore and keeping the heavy rain across parts of New England. This is going to be something we'll see at least for the next couple of days, potentially leading to some flooding concerns. The severe threat, though, through today and at least through this evening is focused across the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. So you've got Nashville, Tupelo, right kind of in that bullseye of the enhanced risk, but slight risk extending from parts of Illinois down to Louisiana and out towards the Carolinas. All of the threats threats are going to be on the table, but we're most concerned about those tornadoes, specifically large tornadoes. Nashville, Memphis, metro areas have the potential to see that. But even St. Louis, Louisville, Knoxville, Birmingham, and Atlanta are some other metro areas that are included in the potential to see those tornadoes. Now, the good news is we've seen plenty of flood alerts expiring, but I have a feeling a lot of those are going to continue to be added on here as we just deal with all this heavy rain over a prolonged period. But looking ahead to at least Thursday, remember I said the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are going to see some of that action. Well, we've got the potential to see 3, maybe 4 inches of rain. So we'll watch for some flooding concerns across that region in the days to come. Today, we're specifically going to see that slight risk centered over, you guessed it, the same area, parts of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. So we've got Charleston, Lexington, Nashville, Knoxville, Evansville, all just a couple of locations that we'll be closely watching for the potential for some flooding. And again, those are some of those same crossover areas where we could see, Joe, some stronger storms, including the tornadoes, as well as the hail and wind gusts.
All right, Angie, thanks for keeping an eye on it. We appreciate it. President Trump announced that Russia and Ukraine will hold ceasefire talks, quote, immediately, after he held separate phone calls with both leaders on Monday. Hoping to bring an end to the 3-year war, Mr. Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin for more than 2 hours yesterday. There did not appear to be any significant breakthrough or any details on when or where negotiations would take place. Speaking to reporters following those phone calls, President Trump said he believes his Russian counterpart wants to end the war.
I think something's going to happen. It's a got very big egos involved, I tell you. Big egos involved. But I think something's going to happen. I said, when are we going to end this, Vladimir? I've known him for a long time now. I said, when are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath? It's a bloodbath. And I do believe he wants to end it.
NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons joins us now. So, Keir, tell us a little more about what President Trump and the White House are saying about this call with President Putin. Do they think it was constructive?
Yes, but there are many, many doubts. I mean, let's just try and break all this down, Joe, together, because it is a fast-moving and complex picture. Just quickly, President Putin does want a deal. President Trump is right about that, but President Putin wants a deal on his own terms. What effectively you heard President Trump say in the Oval Office yesterday and on Truth Social is suggesting that the call made progress when really there was limited progress. He says there's going to be direct talks between Ukraine and Russia, that they're going to start immediately. Well, they already started on Friday. They agreed some things. They didn't walk out of the room. They agreed to exchange 1,000 prisoners on each side. That's a big deal. But there wasn't a ceasefire, and that's a really crucial point. President Trump said that if he doesn't get progress, then he may back away in the weeks ahead. He has been threatening that for some time. It does look, in fact, as like President Trump is really doing that already by saying, well, I'm not going to broker these talks. Maybe they can be held at the Vatican, and they need to be direct between the two countries, Russia and Ukraine. This is a change in his policy just from a few days ago, where he had said that a face-to-face meeting between him and the Russian leader was the way to solve this, the way to unblock it, if you like, as his envoy Steve Witkoff said over the weekend. He didn't unblock anything, as far as we can tell, based on the readouts from all sides.
Let's talk about the reaction on the other end of that phone call. What did we hear from the Kremlin and President Putin following the call, and what does that tell us about where things stand?
Yeah, what we heard from the Kremlin, President Trump said it was a very good call. The Kremlin says, you know, it was incredibly friendly, that President Putin began by congratulating President Trump on the birth of his grandchild, that they called each other by their first names. According to the Kremlin, they didn't want to get off the phone. They wanted to carry on the conversation. What's interesting, though, is that immediately after the call, President Putin walked out in front of the cameras, state TV in Russia, and gave his readout even before the White House did. And crucially, what he said was that he is prepared to compromise. He will look towards a ceasefire, but that he still wants his core interests to be addressed, the root causes, as he calls it. And that's things like Ukraine not being allowed to get any closer to Europe, not being allowed to build up militarily. After 3 years of war, I mean, it's just impossible. So it was friendly, but no progress. I mean, you could call it, there's a long-running bromance between Trump and Putin, you know, Joe. I mean, you could call it, at this point, I think, you know, friends with no benefits.
That's quite the way to put it right there, Keir. So, and of course, there's a very key third party in all this. That's President Zelenskyy. What's Ukraine saying after all of yesterday's phone calls?
You know, Zelenskyy is worried, I think. And there's a picture of the Europeans and Zelenskyy talking to President Trump on the phone. They look worried. And it's not surprising because they recognize that they always recognized it was going to be difficult to get President Putin to agree to a ceasefire. What President Zelenskyy is saying now, effectively, to paraphrase, is don't back away, America. And the reason why he's saying that is because what does backing off mean that President Trump is threatening? Does it mean that America withdraws intelligence support, security support for Ukraine? Those kind of things would be very, very bad for Ukraine. Now, I should just mention that, on the other hand, Patriot missile defense systems just got agreed to be sent to Ukraine. The White House agreed moving those from other countries. So that's an interesting point. And two, in Congress, there's a bill that the White House says it cannot stop the progress of that would impose massive more sanctions and enforcement on Russia. So there is a picture here that's developing that might be the U.S. Pushing Russia, despite the rhetoric from President Trump.
All right. Keir Simmons, good to have you with us this morning. Thank you so much. Let's get more on all this with former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor. Ambassador, always good to have you with us. What do you make of this latest effort by President Trump to try and get a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia? I thought Keir brilliantly spelled it out there. Friends with no benefits. Do you agree with that?
Joe, I have to agree. There was conversations yesterday in several directions. But what we didn't get was indication that the Americans had put pressure on the Russians to stop the war, to agree to a ceasefire. That's what's necessary. It is certainly fine. It's appropriate that the conversations be between the Russians and Ukrainians. Yes, but it's important that the Americans be there to push, in particular the Russians, to come to some kind of an agreement.
The president said yesterday he has a red line in his head, which, if crossed, would lead the U.S. to actually walk away from these peace talks. How much does that concern you? I mean, do you think it's possible the Trump administration would not only abandon these efforts, but also abandon support for Ukraine?
That would be a mistake to abandon support for Ukraine. Ukraine is defending itself, of course, defending Europe and defending U.S. interests. So it's important to continue U.S. support for Ukraine. It's also important for the United States to push the Russians toward an agreement. And that's going to take active involvement. Walking away, which is not something that the administration will look good doing. That it'll be a mistake for them to walk away from this. It will demonstrate to everyone observing that Putin has outplayed us. Putin has outplayed the Americans. Putin has outplayed the president. And so the focus on moving Putin toward an agreement, toward a ceasefire, and then a broader agreement is going to be important policy objective for the United States.
Keir mentioned we just saw Russia and Ukraine hold these face-to-face talks for the first time in 3 years last week in Turkey. No ceasefire, but they did agree to that exchange of 1,000 soldiers. And then Keir just mentioned these missile batteries. When you heard that, what did you think, and what does that say about where things might stand?
It's a good sign, Joe. It's a good sign. There's apparently a Patriot missile battery coming from Israel. It's going to be refurbished and sent to Ukraine. There's apparently another missile battery coming from the Germans and the Greeks. And that's what the Ukrainians need. The Ukrainians need the ability to defend themselves against these continued attacks from the Russians. Over this last weekend, the Russians sent more missiles and drones to Ukraine, attacked Ukraine in numbers that hadn't been seen before, the largest numbers over the entire time of the war. So that's what the Ukrainians need, and it's a positive step that the Americans have been facilitating this movement of Patriot batteries to Ukraine.
Ambassador Taylor, always good to have you with us and to tap into your expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
In other White House news, President Trump signed a bipartisan bill into law that cracks down on sexually explicit deepfakes. The president and first lady held a signing ceremony in the Rose Garden yesterday for what's known as the Take It Down Act. The legislation bans the non-consensual online publication of sexually explicit images and videos, both authentic and computer generated. It also requires websites, with enforcement carried out by the Federal Trade Commission, to remove the imagery after receiving a request from a victim within 48 hours, and to make efforts to take down any copies. Violators will be subject to mandatory restitution and criminal penalties like prison, a fine, or both. The Supreme Court is giving the Trump administration the authority to revoke special legal protections for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan immigrants. Those protections were initially granted during the Biden administration, but yesterday the High Court granted an emergency application that was filed by the Trump administration. It could pave the way for some of those migrants to be deported. The ruling reverses a decision made at the end of President Biden's term. It extended protections for nearly 350,000 Venezuelans under the Federal Temporary Protected Status Program. Those protections were given due to the political instability in that country. They were set to expire in October of 2026. President Trump is heading to Capitol Hill this morning to discuss what he's calling his one big, beautiful bill. The president will meet with House Republicans to discuss the multi-trillion-dollar domestic policy plan that would extend his 2017 tax cuts and increase spending for things like immigration enforcement. Nonpartisan analysts say it would also add to the nation's debt. Now, this comes after the House Budget Committee advanced the bill late Sunday, just 2 days after a group of hardline conservatives voted to reject it. Most observers believe it still needs work before it can pass the full House. Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants the bill to be considered before Memorial Day. A lot to cover. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin joins us now from Washington with more. Julie, good morning. So what are you hearing, first of all, about why this group of hardline Republicans changed their mind on the bill over the weekend? And just what are the hurdles that remain in getting it passed?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Joe. Well, they didn't really change their mind per se. They just agreed to vote present, and that is because there was a handshake, a backdoor agreement between the group of conservative hardliners, about 4 of them who sit on that committee, and the speaker. Unfortunately, though, even as we staked out negotiations late into the night yesterday, it's very clear that they still have a lot of work to be done. None of this is written in the bill that they are going to take up in that Rules Committee vote later tonight, early tomorrow at 1 a.m., however you want to call it, and that is because there are still some real disagreements on Medicaid changes. Conservatives want to speed up, for example, the timeline for which those new work requirements go into place. Moderates, of course, are worried about the impact this could have on their constituents. There are also some disagreements between conservatives and moderates over the Inflation Reduction Act. Conservatives want to repeal the clean energy tax credits even faster. Moderates say let's do it in a deliberative way because, of course, those projects have already started. So much to get done, and they want to vote on this bill tomorrow night.
A 1 a.m. Rules Committee meeting. That tells you everything you need to know about how quickly they want to get out of there. So with all these issues, today the president's coming to Capitol Hill. That's a big deal. What's the purpose of that visit?
That's a really great question because he's walking into a room in about 2 hours from now with a lot of disagreements. He's certainly not going to get in between negotiations. He's tried to keep his hand sort of off, or his thumb off the scale, if you will. He did say at first he was open to some changes to Medicaid. He then said there will be no cuts to the key program. But of course, they have to make cuts in order to make up some of the spending cuts that the administration wants to achieve. So he's probably not going to get in the middle of all that haggling. He's simply going to tell House Republicans, look, you have to pass this. The time for negotiations is over because, by the way, the Senate is probably going to take this bill, rip it up, and change it anyway. And the point here, of course, is for the House to pass this before the Memorial Day recess, according to Speaker Johnson, and then for the Senate to pass it sometime later this summer. They also want to raise the debt ceiling, that expiration date for that crucial date coming in mid-July.
Julie, one more thing happening here. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., is set to testify before a Senate Appropriations Committee later this morning. He's going to talk about the budget request for his department. Last week, when he testified before the House, his comments about not being someone who would give health advice, that got a lot of attention. So what can we expect there today?
It certainly did. This is the third time we're going to hear from RFK Jr., of course, the HHS secretary, testifying before Congress. Last week he had 2 hearings. Today he has another one. This is all about the budget for the Department of Health and Human Services. This is an oversight process for Senate Republicans and Democrats. But of course, as you mentioned, he ran into some hot water during last week's hearing. Of course, his vaccine skepticism, his measles plan, his autism study, all of that is going to come into focus today as Democrats on this key subcommittee have a chance to question him. But as you saw last week, of course, we expect a similar line of questioning and back and forth as the administration proposed a 26% cut to the department that RFK Jr. oversees.
All right, Julie, I hope you find a 2-hour pocket to get some sleep sometime today. Appreciate it. The federal sex trafficking trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has now entered its 2nd week here in New York City. On Monday, prosecutors continued to lay out their evidence against Combs, including disturbing images of the results of the alleged abuse of ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. A member of Combs' former girl group, Danity Kane, also testified in open court, saying that she saw Combs assault Ventura. After that, she says he threatened her life as a way to scare her into silence. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has the latest.
For the first time, images shown to the court in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial made public. Prosecutors releasing these exhibits. Pictures of Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, with what she says are bruises on her back and legs, as well as a gash above her eye. During her more than 20 hours on the stand, Ventura testifying that these injuries occurred during alleged assaults in 2013 and 2016. Also released these pictures from when Diddy was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York in September of last year. A special agent with Homeland Security testifying last week that the items found included bottles of baby oil and drugs including pink packets of ketamine. Meanwhile, on the stand, singer Dawn Richard offering dramatic and at times tense testimony about the years she spent working for Combs. Richard describing an incident in 2009 when she allegedly saw Diddy assault his then-girlfriend Cassie, testifying the next day she received a call from Diddy with a warning. Richard testifying, quote, "He said you could go missing, that we could die," going on to say, "I was shocked, but also scared." Combs is charged with 5 counts, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution, and faces up to life behind bars. He has denied all of the allegations against him. Combs discovering Richard on his hit MTV reality show, Making the Band 3. Signing her to the hit girl group Danity Kane. And then later the group Diddy Dirty Money. Diddy's defense team saying Richard's retelling of events has been inconsistent. When challenged by Combs' attorney Nicole Westmoreland, as time progresses, your story changes. To which Richard responded yes, adding that it's been difficult to remember these alleged incidents because she's, quote, tried to erase those memories. Combs' lawyer also arguing that Richard filed a civil suit against Combs in 2024, shortly after Ventura went public with her own accusations, saying that Richard only wanted money. But Richard saying it was about justice. Chloe Malas, NBC News.
Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, 23andMe, who? The pharmaceutical company says it's buying the bankrupt genetic testing company 23andMe and its customer data. More on the multi-million-dollar deal and what it means for users. Up first, pressure and pushback in the Middle East. Israel upping its offensive in Gaza as allies threaten sanctions. The latest after the break. Welcome back. Trucks carrying humanitarian aid have entered Gaza for the first time since Israel issued a blockade nearly 3 months ago. On Monday, 5 aid trucks carrying baby food and other supplies entered the enclave, a place that the United Nations has said is on the brink of famine. This comes as Israel faces mounting pressure from international allies over its latest military offensive in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian health authorities say at least 60 people were killed by airstrikes overnight. NBC News reporter Matt Bodner joins us now from London with the very latest. Matt, good morning. So the Israeli military is calling this latest ground operation in Gaza Gideon's Chariot. What is Israel saying is the aim of this operation, and just how's it impacting the enclave so far?
Joe, good morning. Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday that the goal of this offensive is nothing less than the total seizure of the Gaza Strip. There's other goals, too, those being the release of the remaining October 7th hostages, as well as the defeat of Hamas. Now, the impact of this new offensive so far has, of course, been devastating. There were airstrikes leading up to the start of the ground operation, and those killed hundreds of people, at least according to Gaza health officials. Strikes have continued into this week, killing more Palestinians, taking Gaza's last functioning hospital offline. There are also these ongoing concerns about a looming famine, since Israel has prevented international humanitarian aid from being distributed in the Strip since early March, as you mentioned. Now, Netanyahu yesterday said that Israel plans to take direct control of aid distribution, but he also said that he's decided to allow a small number of aid trucks into Gaza this week, though he did suggest that his primary concern here was losing international support if the Gaza Strip falls into famine, rather than concern for the 2 million people living in Gaza. Joe?
Matt, let's talk about some of the international response. We've got leaders from the United Kingdom, France, Canada threatening to take concrete actions against Israel yesterday if it doesn't stop this latest offensive. What could they do, and how is Israel responding to this?
So this is definitely part of the international opinion that Netanyahu seems to be worried about losing. So we're seeing the UK, France, and Canada, they're threatening concrete action, and that includes targeted sanctions. But beyond that, they've not really specified what else that might entail in terms of things that could be done. There's always the question of military support. But basically what we're seeing, especially from these three countries, is they're clearly demanding that Israel end this new ground offensive. There's a lot of concern about the famine risk. And, these three countries also called on Israel and Hamas to work out a ceasefire. Efforts towards that end are again underway in Qatar, mediated by Egypt and the United States. But obviously, they've not really gotten anywhere. But this latest joint statement, it underscores that Israel is increasingly at odds with the international community concerning the ultimate fate of Gaza.
Also at aids with the UN aid chief Tom Fletcher said the delivery of aid to Gaza yesterday was a, quote, welcome development, but also a, quote, drop in the ocean of what's urgently needed. What supplies does Gaza need most right now? Is there any sign they could expect more deliveries?
Food. Food is the most urgent need, and that's really one of the main points behind this threat from the UK, France, and Canada. Also, the UN keeps highlighting this. And in that joint statement, that they said that the small quantities of food that have been allowed through were, quote, wholly inadequate. There's thousands of aid trucks waiting outside of Gaza, and the Israelis have only allowed in a total of 5. So that's what they mean when they say that they're allowing some foreign aid into Gaza. It's really not enough. Beyond food, there remains, very critical shortages of medical supplies and fuel. The situation on the ground really is dire. Joe?
Matt Bodner, thank you so much. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that as part of its immigration crackdown, the Trump administration can no longer deport migrants from Venezuela without due process under the Alien Enemies Act. However, that ruling, it only applies to the people who have not been deported yet. For those who already have been, including some of those who were sent to an infamous prison in El Salvador earlier this year, there's new reporting that some of them came to the U.S. legally and should have been allowed to stay for the time being. NBC News correspondent David Noriega spoke with the mother of one refugee who says she has not received any information about her son in months.
I've talked to many of the families and lawyers of the Venezuelan men who are now incarcerated at the Secot mega prison in El Salvador. But this one case stands out because the man in question went through an extensive and rigorous vetting process to prove to the United States government that he did not present a threat to public safety. And this is a case that may soon be at the center of the legal saga surrounding the Alien Enemies Act. Take a look. Before they ever set foot in the U.S., while they were living in Ecuador after having fled their native Venezuela, Lisbeth Sanguino and her sons went through months of extensive vetting, in-person interviews, and background checks to be resettled as refugees.
Aquí están los boletos de avión.
So she was shocked when the family arrived at the airport in Houston and immigration agents arrested her 24-year-old son, Widmer Aguelvis. The reason? A tattoo of a rose and a clock, which an agent wrote are associated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Experts say Tren de Aragua does not use tattoos as markers of membership, and government documents show Aguelvis had no criminal record or other evidence linking him to the gang. My son, Sanguino says, is not a gang member or a terrorist. So she hired a lawyer to prove that in immigration court. Due process that was cut short when Aguelvis, with no court hearing and no warning, was sent here to a notorious supermax prison in El Salvador designed to lock up gang members and terrorists indefinitely with no contact with the outside world. He's one of hundreds of men deported to the prison under the Alien Enemies Act, which Trump officials justified by calling them a threat to the nation.
Our job is to send the terrorists out before anyone else gets raped or murdered.
But lawyers advocating for the families say most of them aren't gang members at all.
The majority of them have no criminal record and have no indication, really, that they're part of this Tren de Aragua that the government says that they're an integral part of and that they present a danger to the United States.
Through government documents and interviews with lawyers and families, we found that at least 3 of the deported men, including Aguelvis, had been carefully vetted to come to the U.S. under the Refugee Resettlement Program, a process for people fleeing war and persecution. In a statement, the Trump administration said it was confident in its intelligence and that it would be, quote, insane to share intelligence reports every time a gang member denies he is one. Lisbeth still has the suitcase her son packed to come to the U.S.
Para mí es muy duro como mamá imaginar la situación que está pasando mi hijo.
For more than 2 months, she's had no contact with him.
Yo como y siento culpa.
She feels guilty when she eats, she says, because she doesn't know if he's eating. The first and only glimpse at his conditions came last week, when former Congressman Matt Gaetz, for his show on One America News, joined current members of Congress for a tour of the section of the prison housing Venezuelan deportees. The prisoners yelled liberty and made this hand sign, an international symbol meaning SOS.
Y más aún después de la semana pasada ver esos videos donde gritaban pidiendo auxilio.
Watching the video, Lisbeth says, only made her feel worse. How does this change your perception of the United States?
Totalmente.
Completely, she says. She thought the U.S. was a place where things happened according to the law. There was a major development in this case when a federal judge in the Southern District of Texas ordered the Trump administration to facilitate contact between Widmer Aguelvis, the man you just heard about, and his lawyers. It is the first time in any of the cases surrounding the Alien Enemies Act that the Trump administration has been ordered to facilitate such contact. This is significant for a number of reasons. Number one, the prison in El Salvador is one that does not allow any contact between prisoners and their loved ones or lawyers. So if they do in fact get access to counsel, that would be a very meaningful change in their conditions. However, it also presents the Trump administration with a new legal challenge. They are likely to try to resist this order, certainly by appealing it up to the Fifth Circuit, potentially all the way up to the Supreme Court. If they are, in fact, at the end, ordered to facilitate this contact, it also gives them an opportunity to find ways to avoid complying with those orders as they have in the past. Back to you.
All right, David Noriega with an important update to that story. Thank you. Coming up, a school-age struggle with long-lasting impacts. Up next in our weekly check-in, the new research that shows the importance of supporting children with their mental health. Also, a community of seniors living out their retirement dreams with the help of virtual reality. Morning News Now. We'll be right back. We are back with your weekly mental health check-in, starting with new research linking childhood mental health to long-term success in the workplace. Plus, how creative rituals from music to meditation might help us manage stress and boost our performance. Joining us now to break it all down is psychotherapist Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Dr. Robbie, always good to have you with us. So let's start with this new study out of the UK. Finds that children with serious mental health issues are significantly more likely to struggle with work later in life. What does this tell us about the importance of early intervention when it comes to mental health? What is it parents or schools can do now to better support children, especially considering all the challenges they're facing, the lack of resources we have? What can be done?
Yeah, so this study was done in the 70s, and it found those with mental challenges had a more difficult time in adulthood of really managing a successful work life and earning potential. And what parents can now take away from this study is that early intervention is key. Working with professionals to discover what challenges your child is having and providing them with a skill set so they can be resilient and manage these challenges and stressors that happen in everyday living. And what we found was it decrease the chances of those with struggles, being mentally disabled and not being able to manage a successful life in general. So really, if you address things early on, it decreases the chances of escalation.
Dr. Rabi, let's talk about personal rituals. So we're talking about everything from Beyonce's turkey sandwich to Paul McCartney's pre-show sing-along. You've got Daily Show host Michael Costa's tie-tying tribute to his dad. All of these things help performers sort of get in the zone. So psychologically speaking,
Yes.
how do these routines actually help our minds feel calmer, help us be more focused?
These psychological routines for performances are actually psychological tools that help us to focus and really to think about our goals, to experiment with our timing, to keep things realistic and build flexibility into our routine. It also is a great source of comfort whenever we engage in routines that help us to focus and think about what we're about to accomplish. It really does help soothe our nerves and help us to perform in an increased, successful way.
Do you have a ritual, Dr. Rabi?
Oh, gosh. I think coffee is my ritual. Yes. Morning, noon, and night. Coffee does the trick.
Round the clock coffee. All right. I love that. All right.
That's right.
All right. Let's talk about it. We just keep seeing more and more research about outdoor activities and that they offer a form of therapy. It doesn't only help us manage stress, it helps us bounce back from difficult situations. Talk about why the outdoors has such a powerful effect on us, and what are some of the easy ways for us to get those benefits?
Well, one of the biggest helps in this regard is it takes us away from our digital phones. And so when we are in the environment and we're outside, we decrease our mental clutter and we get to experience ourselves in a different way. We get to challenge ourselves. We get to increase our ability to work with others and to problem solve. And we're more likely to be in the moment. There is something about being in nature that helps us to improve our attention, lower our stress, better our mood, reduce risks of psychiatric disorders, and upticks in empathy and cooperation.
Sitting on a park bench with your phone doesn't help. Put the phone down, enjoy nature, look around.
That's the key.
Dr. Rabi Ludwig, as always, thank you so much. We're going to stay with health news, but, we're going to shift to a different kind of innovation that's helping seniors across the country. Older adults are exploring exotic destinations. They're breaking a sweat without ever leaving their seats, and it's all thanks to virtual reality. NBC's Laura Jarrett takes us inside one senior living community that's embracing VR to boost physical health, sharpen minds, and spark a little joy.
Every week here at River Spring Living in the Bronx, residents stay busy. All the usual activities you'd expect to find at a community for senior care. But for those in need of a little more adventure, there's also this. Virtual reality.
Put your hands up, we're going up, we're only going up.
With the help of a headset and a trusty guide, the thrill seekers can jump on a roller coaster.
Oh, we're hitting a turn, here we go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Catch a wave in Hawaii.
Yes, here's a biggie.
Yes. Ooh,
nice.
Even try skydiving.
Look, hop down, you see the clouds over the mountains? Shirley, how does it look?
Beautiful.
Adventures like they've never had before, all from the safety of an armchair.
All right, take a deep breath, we're back. Exhale.
How did that feel?
Oh, it's lovely.
You were holding on really tight.
That's right. You see my knuckles?
River Spring Living, now one of a growing number of senior care communities across the country embracing VR, with studies showing it helps aging residents with everything from mental cognition to loneliness.
How many of you feel better after doing virtual reality? Everyone. And what did it feel like the first time you put on the headset?
Nice, comfortable, calm. I felt like I was right there.
You in a world of your own, and it was just so beautiful.
David Pomerantz is the CEO of River Spring Living.
What are some of the misconceptions you think about our seniors and technology?
that it's going to be too complicated, that they're going to be intimidated by it, that they don't want it. All are false. By putting on this headset, it transports them, and transports them from maybe a place where they're sitting alone or in a room, to being part of a room full of people. Right there.
And it's not just good for the brain. Special fitness programs help residents get a full body workout.
One, let's start. Here we go. So let's speed it up because everyone's doing well. Those feet up and down, that's fine. Sal, you don't have to.
I'm on the edge.
No?
I'm on the edge.
And pop those balloons.
We're popping the out of
So I had to give it a try.
You got to get in. You want to get in?
I'm getting in. Okay, Bella, I haven't done this before.
Oh, it's easy. Just press those buttons when you see the balloon.
You're probably going to beat me.
No, not really.
You ready?
Ready.
Let's do this. Yeah, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Am I pedaling too, guys? Okay. Oh, my goodness. My kids would love this. Oof. I'm sweating. Are you sweating?
Yep. I'm more hungry than sweating.
VR is also part of a wider push to use technology to enrich the lives of seniors.
Do you think in the next 5 to 10 years, virtual reality will be part of the expectation at any senior living facility?
Yeah, I think it's going to be even better. Think about how we all talk to each other through text and technology now that didn't exist 20 years ago. I think VR is going to be like that.
But for these residents, the future is already here.
Yeah. This is how the world started, I feel.
It's beautiful.
As they once again explore the world in their own way.
I live a life that's full, much more than this. I did it my way.
And it's not just adventure sports. Seniors can also use virtual reality for virtual vacations all around the world, maybe checking off a bucket list destination or returning to a place that brings back fond memories. Back to you.
Thank you, Laura. I could watch them doing that all day long. All right, coming up, a DNA dilemma. Genetic testing company 23andMe being bought in a multi-million-dollar deal. Now, new concerns about what happens to all that sensitive information sent in by users. What we know next on Morning News Now. Welcome back. Genetic testing company 23andMe has a buyer following a bankruptcy auction. Biotech company Regeneron Pharmaceuticals announced on Monday it would buy the company for just over $250 million. Regeneron promised to comply with 23andMe's privacy rules, but some people, including officials at the Federal Trade Commission, have expressed concerns over the safety of user data. 15 million people had sent genetic data to 23andMe through their saliva testing kits before the company filed for bankruptcy in March. For more, let's bring in Lance Ulanoff. He is the editor-at-large at Tech Radar. Lance, always good to have you with us. So in its bankruptcy proceedings, we saw 23andMe required all bidders to comply with its privacy policies. What were those policies and what guardrails are in place to just make sure Regeneron does comply with them?
Well, the thing is that I'm sure most people who signed up for 23andMe never read the terms of service, which include all those privacy protections, which say they're going to protect your data. But let's not forget that 23andMe had a massive privacy breach that exposed the data of roughly half of all their users before this happened. It wasn't necessarily the reason they went bankrupt. It was just, people kind of getting turned off from the idea of sending their saliva and really having their private information out there. As far as protecting the data goes, the Consumer Privacy Agency, they have an ombudsman who is going to be watching this process to ensure that user data is not used or shared in a way it shouldn't be. Because, of course, Regeneron is a pharmaceutical company, and you're thinking, well, could they use my data to basically figure out what medicines I need?
The hack, I think, raised a big question for a lot of people, which is how much of a say do customers have and who has access to their information after they mail in those kits. Were there any long-term guarantees of protection?
I mean, they all make the same guarantees. They all promise that they're not going to sell your data. They're not going to use it in a way that you did not previously agree to. But when you have a hack, and there have been so many data breaches for so many different kinds of data across the digital spectrum, it doesn't matter what those protections are. I mean, the kind of data that was out there that was found by these hackers, I mean, it was all the critical data of all those people. So it's kind of like half of the 23andMe users right now, I'm not sure what they're worried about because it already happened to them. The data is already out there.
So for those remaining former 23andMe customers who are worried, they don't know who can access their data, especially during this sale, what should they do? Is that process for permanently deleting your data, is that still an option?
Yeah, they absolutely can visit the site. They have a setup. They have a form. You can ask them to delete all of your data, destroy whatever saliva sample they might have, and they should do that right away because this process, not that the process will happen overnight, but 23andMe will ostensibly cease to exist, and that site won't be there anymore. So you definitely want to do it if you've signed up for this service right away.
All right. Lance Ulanoff, always good to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
More Wall Street headlines this morning. Another major car company is saying it is feeling the heat from President Trump's tariffs. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and some other money headlines. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe. Good morning. Yes, Subaru is hiking prices on several U.S. models, the latest automaker to pass on higher costs stemming from tariffs to consumers. Subaru saying the increases are in response to current market conditions without specifically citing tariffs, and says pricing isn't based on where vehicles are made. Reuters reports the hikes will add between $750 and $2,000 to cars, depending on the model and the trim. Now, they are expected to hit cars on dealers' lots starting in June. Subaru imports nearly half of the vehicles it sells in the U.S. Honda is scaling back its investment in electric vehicles due to slowing demand. The Japanese automaker will instead focus more on the growing demand for hybrids. It plans to launch more than a dozen next-generation hybrid models worldwide starting in 2027. And Conan O'Brien is heading to the Playroom. Yeah, the comedian and former late-night host has been cast as the voice of Smarty Pants in Toy Story 5, which hits theaters next year. Disney making the announcement as part of a licensing expo presentation yesterday. The latest Toy Story finds Buzz, Woody, and the rest of the gang being challenged by what kids are obsessed with now: electronics. The previous installment, Toy Story 4, came out in 2019, bringing in more than $1 billion at the box office, setting a record at the time as the biggest animated film of all time, Joe.
Man, Conan is having a great year. He got the Oscars.
He really is, yes.
And with every deal, his hair just gets higher and higher and higher.
It does. I agree.
It's where he hides all the money. All right, Samana, thank you. Coming up, and then there were four. That's right. Only 4 teams remain in the battle to be this year's NBA champions. I'm not biased at all. When we come back, we're going to break down the matchups as we count down to tonight's tip-off. Don't bounce. This is Morning News Now. Finally this hour, it is a great time of year for basketball fans as the NBA's conference finals get underway tonight. It begins with the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Baker Machado, host of Front Office Sports Today, joins us now with a preview. This is exciting, especially here in New York.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Minnesota. We'll get into that in just a moment. But let's start with the top seed in the West, which is the Thunder.
Yeah.
They had 68 wins this year. They ended up going to Game 7 here in their last round, but blew out
Denver,
blew out Denver in that one, which I know maybe you're upset over.
Very,
but
yes.
what makes the Thunder so dangerous?
Me and Savannah both sad about that. Look, the Thunder, as you mentioned, one of the best records in the NBA, the #1 seed, and they're so incredibly young, but also so too is Minnesota. This is going to be an incredibly great matchup. Oklahoma City, one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA as well. This is easily, Joe, a series that could go at least 6 or 7 games. Minnesota, though, has a lot more rest than Oklahoma City does. Oklahoma City beat Denver on Sunday, coming in with just 1 day of rest. Yes, the game is in Oklahoma City, but you have to think Minnesota, who has one of the hottest records since March, 25-5 just since March, knocking out the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. You got to think Minnesota really playing well right now for this.
Surging late. They're 8-2 in the postseason right now. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Warriors. 2 teams that have a pretty good reputation.
True.
But here's the deal. I can tell you, someone from Minnesota, they've never been in the finals.
Never. No.
Even in years when they should have been in the finals, they have not been in the finals. Could they get over that curse?
I mean, this could be the year, and a lot of people didn't think that could happen, given the fact that Karl Anthony Towns, which, by the way, plays for the Knicks, that would be an incredible series if the Timberwolves ended up playing the Knicks in the championship. They traded Karl Anthony Towns, who was their #1 pick years ago, for Julius Randle, and somehow the team almost got better because of that. But as you mentioned, they've been incredible over the course of the postseason. This is going to be a good one. It's going to go at least 6 or 7 games. Oklahoma City, though, one of the youngest teams in the NBA, I still think maybe they might be favored in this matchup.
Let's move to the Eastern Conference. You got the Pacers and the Knicks.
Yes.
The Pacers eliminated the Knicks last year. The last time they faced each other in the conference finals was 25 years ago, which is the last time the Knicks were in the conference finals. New York is very excited right now. Like Timothy Chalamet's hanging out of car windows and,
Well, and also, I mean, besides every celeb that's at these games, I mean, how expensive those courtside seats are. I mean, the last time I saw some of these, for the last series, those tickets were upwards of $40,000 a piece. So who knows what it's going to be in this series, but this is exciting. As you mentioned, this is the first time the Knicks have made it this far in 25 years. Neither of these teams have made the the NBA Finals in 20-plus years. This is a 90s rematch, and to add even more excitement for this, Reggie Miller, who was part of the great rivalry between the Pacers and the Knicks, is the one calling the game for TNT.
Oh, that's fun.
So adds more intrigue to this as well. But this is going to be an incredible matchup. And just like Minnesota, Indiana is coming off a lot more rest than the New York Knicks have. The Indiana Pacers also knocking out the #1 seed in the Cleveland Cavs in the Eastern Conference as well. The Pacers are a really good, gritty, and very deep team. They're going to give the Knicks a headache, but this one could go 6 or 7 as well.
You got 5 seconds. Who's in the final?
I think it's going to be the Knicks versus the Thunder, but I would love to see the Timberwolves make it also, just for you, so I can come and talk about it.
All right. Baker Machado, good to have you with us.
Thanks, Joe.
So much. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but don't go anywhere. The news continues right now. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off today. Right now on Morning News Now, Mother Nature not letting up. Millions of Americans from Minneapolis to Memphis bracing for even more nasty, severe weather. More than 100 reported tornadoes tearing across the Midwest over the past few days. Take a look at this. Lightning caught on camera actually striking a police car in Oklahoma. The skies are not clearing up just yet. Our Angie Lastman is tracking it all. Also this morning, an outpouring of support for former President Joe Biden following his cancer diagnosis. But there are new questions from some Republicans, including President Trump, over why it wasn't made public sooner. That's on the heels of a lengthy phone call between Mr. Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin. So what will it take to end Putin's years-long war with Ukraine? We are covering it all. Plus, the fresh safety concerns at one of America's busiest travel hubs, Jersey's Newark Airport, experiencing yet another ATC meltdown yesterday. Radio frequencies again going dark for 2 critical seconds. Now top lawmakers are calling for action ahead of a busy summer travel season. And later in the hour, something a little lighter. We've got Spotify's new list of the top songs of the summer. They're the hottest hits that'll keep you grooving all season long. Let's begin this hour with the millions of Americans who are bracing for more wild weather. Several rounds of dangerous storms have been sweeping across the country, spawning more than 100 tornadoes since Thursday. Well, now people in the Midwest may have to hold off on their cleanup efforts. More powerful storms are expected to hit that region today. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park joins us from London, Kentucky with the very latest. Kathy, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yeah, we've been stuck in this relentless pattern of severe weather, and unfortunately, portions of Kentucky are back in the bullseye again. Here in London, Kentucky, a likely EF3 tornado came through, and you can see behind me miles of devastation. And today, with more severe weather on the way, the concern is with those damaging winds and what it could do with all this debris still on the ground.
This morning, more than 30 million people under the risk of severe weather, part of a storm system that caused heavy rains and damaging winds in parts of the Midwest and South, with tornadoes sweeping through multiple states over the last several days. Americans waking up this morning to more destruction. A police department in Oklahoma posting this video of the moment lightning struck a police car, warning no one was hurt, but it could have been anyone. And in Missouri, tornadoes damaging thousands of buildings in St. Louis alone. Authorities there saying they may call in the National Guard. And the mayor assuring residents saying that after sirens failed to go off before tornadoes last week, they can rely on the system going forward.
There was a failure, a human failure, a failure in protocol to get the sirens up.
But amid the destruction in the Midwest, some hope. In Kentucky, this mother pulled her baby from the debris after an earlier tornado destroyed their home.
It's tough. I'm just thankful to be alive.
Elsewhere, crews working around the clock to rescue those trapped in the rubble.
I couldn't get out. And so the police was running up and down the street, so they came and rescued me.
Volunteers pouring in, showing up with food, supplies, and open hearts.
If we were down on our luck, we would hope somebody would do us the same way.
And with more tornadoes in the forecast, officials are urging folks who are in the storm's path to have a plan, a safe space. And if you're at home, try to avoid windows. And if you have a basement, head there because, for example, we're told that a family actually headed downstairs and incredibly made it out alive after the tornado. And as you can see, this home has been completely destroyed. Joe?
Thank goodness for those shelters. All right, Kathy, thank you so much. Let's get a closer look now at your Morning News Now weather forecast. Meteorologist Angie Lastman is here. Angie, good morning.
Hi, Joe. Good morning to you. We've had already quite an active morning. We've seen this kind of line of thunderstorms prompting some tornado watches, some severe thunderstorm watches, and warnings of both. But now those are mostly winding down for the time being. We have one little thunderstorm watch that's still in place across parts of Arkansas, but that is going to eventually expire here as we get closer to 8 a.m. Central Time. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods when it comes to severe weather through the rest of the day. Unfortunately, this same cold front is going to work its way farther to the east. We've got some heat to tap into, and we're going to see kind of those same kind of conditions firing up yet again across a different region. Today, it's the Ohio and Tennessee valleys that we're specifically going to watch, but Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, those are the areas that have the greatest chance to see some of those strongest storms developing as our Tuesday goes on. We'll get to that here in a moment, but notice what happens by tomorrow. The system continues its mission east, and we've got heavy rain across parts of the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, and back towards the Great Lakes. This rain sticks around, unfortunately, as this low kind of spins offshore and ushers in more of this heavy rain as we get into Thursday. It'll be just off that Jersey coast. That means that it's ushering in all that moisture, and we do have the potential for some flooding across this region as the next couple of days go on. In the meantime, the short term, we're focused on the severe weather that is across parts of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. So 37 million people in total have the potential to see some of these strong storms, but we've got the potential to see some strong tornadoes along with the other impacts. And those are specifically going to be focused Nashville, Memphis, down to Huntsville. But we've got anywhere from St. Louis to Atlanta included in the potential to see tornadoes. Again, the hail and wind will also be a threat today. Some better news when it comes to the flood alerts. We had a whole lot more earlier this morning. Many of those have since expired. But if you live in Bowling Green, Lexington, or even the Charleston area, still dealing with that flood watches, we're expecting more of that heavy rain to come along here through the day today and potentially through the next couple of days. When we look out to Thursday, notice the areas that are going to get a good dose of rain. It's parts of Pennsylvania, really the mid-Atlantic, specifically into the Northeast, could see some of that heavy rain. And it does include anywhere from 2, 3, up to 4 inches. So we'll watch for the flooding concern through the next couple of days. Today, here's where it's focused. Evansville, Nashville, Lexington, Charleston, Knoxville, some of the same spots that we're going to watch, Joe, to have the potential to see some of those severe storms as well. So it's not just the hail, tornadoes, and the wind, but also the flooding threat that we'll have to watch for it through the day today.
A lot to keep an eye on. All right, Angie, thank you so much. Now to the latest on the health of former President Joe Biden. He and his family are said to be reviewing treatment options after he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. The former president is thanking well-wishers from across the political spectrum. Some Republicans, though, including President Trump, are questioning why Mr. Biden's cancer was not detected sooner. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander joins us with more on this. Peter, good morning.
Joe, good morning. Former President Biden's announcement that he has stage 4 prostate cancer that has now spread to his bones, was immediately met with sympathy and support. But that sudden diagnosis is also raising new questions for a former president whose health is so scrutinized and who has access to the best medical care.
This morning, as former President Biden huddles privately with his family, he's receiving an outpouring of love and support after revealing he's been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer.
He'll get through this. He'll fight. But this is hard.
The former president on Monday sharing his gratitude for all the well wishes, posting "Cancer touches us all." A source familiar with Biden and his family's thinking tells NBC News they are now assessing multiple treatment options, including hormone therapy. The discovery of the cancer that had spread to his bones came after Biden's office says he had experienced increasing urinary symptoms. Oncologists say Biden's cancer is treatable but not curable. Late Monday, President Trump questioned why Biden's cancer was not caught sooner.
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago. I think people should try and find out what happened.
Earlier, prominent oncologist Zeke Emanuel raising another question.
It is a little surprising to many of us oncologists that he wasn't diagnosed earlier.
Adding that he believes cancer that has spread to the bone has been around for a long time.
He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president.
But there's no evidence Biden knew about his diagnosis until last week. And oncologists say prostate cancer screenings like the PSA blood test are not typically recommended for men 70 and older.
At 75, we actually stop screening. There are certain instances where we will continue to screen it.
Biden's cancer diagnosis comes as he faces renewed scrutiny over his health and memory while serving as president, including accounts detailed in a new book out today that Biden's top aides concealed his mental and physical decline. Biden has disputed that, and now new reaction from the family. Granddaughter Naomi Biden bashing the book, calling it, quote, a bunch of unoriginal, uninspired lies.
Cancer has, of course, impacted the Biden family in profound ways, and next week marks 10 years since Biden's son Beau died of brain cancer, and the former president did help launch the Cancer Moonshot Initiative that's helped produce new personalized treatments that could benefit Biden in his own cancer fight now. Joe?
All right. Peter, thank you so much. President Trump says Russia and Ukraine will immediately hold ceasefire talks after he spoke separately on the phone with leaders of both countries yesterday. But there did not appear to be any signs of a significant breakthrough. No further details were provided, and the time frame of negotiations remained unclear. NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Hake joins us with the latest on this. Garrett, good morning.
Joe, President Trump spent 2 hours on the phone with Vladimir Putin yesterday trying to reach a ceasefire in a war that, during the campaign, he promised would long since be over by now. Now, yesterday's call appears to have done little to lock in that ceasefire with, as you said, no meeting set for Trump and Putin and no clear timetable for these talks to advance, as the president also warns the U.S. could still simply walk away. In a new attempt to stop what he calls a bloodbath, President Trump spent more than 2 hours on the phone Monday with Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
My little conversation with a nice gentleman named Vladimir Putin. Actually, we had a good talk, and I think that progress is being made.
Mr. Trump last week said he hoped a ceasefire would emerge from the call, and on the campaign trail vowed to end the war within 24 hours of taking office. Now calling for the two sides to, quote, immediately start negotiations towards a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war, and suggesting that the U.S. may pull back.
I think something's going to happen, and if it doesn't, I'd just back away, and they're going to have to keep going. Again, this was a European situation.
Trump also speaking with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy twice.
Everybody is very interested in ceasefire. Too many losses. I'm not sure that Russia is ready, and we don't trust them.
Zelenskyy posting this morning, it is obvious that Russia is trying to buy time to continue the war and occupation. President Trump also floating the possibility of peace talks involving Pope Leo.
I think it would be great to have it at the Vatican. Maybe it would have some extra significance.
But Vice President J.D. Vance, who met with Zelenskyy in Rome on Sunday, says without progress soon, the U.S. may stop pushing peace talks. Vance's weekend meeting in Rome, a stark contrast from that Oval Office encounter in February, when he and the president accused Zelenskyy of being ungrateful.
Have you said thank you once?
You don't have the cards right now.
For his part, President Putin describing Monday's call with Trump as, quote, very constructive, but making no commitments to a ceasefire. Now, after his calls with Trump yesterday, President Zelenskyy posted online that if Russia isn't ready to stop the war, there must be stronger sanctions put in place to force their hand. This morning, it seems at least some of Ukraine's allies are listening, with Great Britain and the EU each announcing stepped-up economic sanctions against Russia. But asked yesterday if the U.S. would increase sanctions too, the president said he was concerned that that could make the situation worse and added there could be a time where that's going to happen. Joe?
All right, Garrett, thank you. There has been yet another troubling incident at Newark Airport. Air traffic controllers experienced another system outage at the Philadelphia facility that directs planes in and out of the airport. Concerns there are mounting with the busy summer travel season about to get underway. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin is there at Newark with the very latest. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. This time, the outage only lasted about 2 seconds, but it's the latest in a series of troubling disruptions, and passengers say they've had enough.
Here we are south on departures due to equipment issues in the sector.
This morning, troubled Newark Airport back in the spotlight after yet another radio outage on Monday morning.
It may be a while. They lost the radar and frequencies again.
All right, should we plan on shutting down?
The FAA is investigating what happened when the Newark TRACON lost radio frequencies for 2 seconds, noting all aircrafts remained safely separated and operations were normal. The latest incident raising more questions about safety as the FAA scrambles to upgrade Newark's unstable telecom lines after a series of disruptive radar and radio outages in recent weeks. Adding to the travel troubles on Monday, the FAA says it slowed flights due to staffing issues.
I might change my future flights to Philly instead of Newark.
A common thought for some travelers who are growing increasingly nervous about flying in and out of Newark.
You think it would be all up to date and, there shouldn't be outages at all, but it's what it's come to. So it's a little scary.
All of it comes as the busy summer travel season is kicking into high gear, with over 3 million Americans expected to fly this Memorial Day weekend alone. Newark Airport is a major hub for United Airlines. The company's CEO, Scott Kirby, recently telling Today, while they are taking action, it's still safe to fly.
It is absolutely safe. We have backup procedures and backups to the backups.
But United has temporarily cut back its flights at Newark, and the FAA is proposing a maximum of 28 arrivals per hour at the New Jersey airport, which normally handles 40.
Overnight, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tweeted, quote, "The time to build an all-new state-of-the-art air traffic control system is right now." As for Newark, last week he told Congress that he's working to update the fiber lines that provide radar and radio to the Philadelphia facility. The hope is that that work will be completed by the end of the summer. Joe.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much. A massive manhunt is intensifying in New Orleans after one of the largest jailbreaks in Louisiana history. 10 inmates initially escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail last week, slipping through a hole behind a toilet, then scaling a wall. Overnight, authorities captured a fourth escapee, Gary Price. 6 still remain on the run. This escape is reigniting long-standing security concerns at the jail. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler joins us now from New Orleans with more. Ryan, good morning. So let's start with this latest development, that fourth inmate back in custody. What do we know about how he was found and where he was found?
Well, good morning, Joe. Gary Price right there, just 21 years old, apprehended here in New Orleans last night in a neighborhood called New Orleans East. That tracks with the other 3 arrests. This is the only arrest they've made since Saturday, but now all 4 of those people have been found here in New Orleans. So even given 4 days on the run, none of them went very far. And state police say they worry that they may be staying with family and friends, that may be harboring them and threaten anybody who is helping these fugitives, that they will also be arrested if it is found that they are helping to conceal them. Gary Price there is now going into a state facility run by the state prison system, as well as the other 3 fugitives that have now been apprehended. They're not going to let him back into the jail that they just broke out of, Joe.
So, Ryan, this escape is raising serious concerns about just how the jail is being run. What is the latest on the investigation into how this happened? And could more of the staff there or anyone else be held accountable?
So the latest reports from the sheriff's office points to a pattern of failures, from faulty locks that you see the inmates were able to just break through the door, to broken security cameras that weren't working or weren't trained on the unit where this happened. And the most damning allegation from the sheriff, a possible inside job. She says this simply would not have been possible without help from the inside. And now 3 jail employees have been suspended as that investigation continues, Joe.
So, Ryan, we still have 6 inmates out there. Some are considered dangerous. What are officials doing now to try and find them? Is the public being asked to help out?
So at last update from the Louisiana State Police, they do say that they do have good leads on all of the remaining fugitives who have not been caught. They said, as of a couple days ago, at least, they believe they are still in the state of Louisiana, as all of the ones who have been caught have been so far. But they could be anywhere. So they are collaborating with the FBI and, crucially, the public. They say they are going to have to rely on public tips to track these guys down. And they're pleading with everybody who may know anything to reach out to the sheriff's office or to the FBI or to Crime Stoppers. All of those agencies now offering a combined $20,000 per man if you have the tips that can put them behind bars again, Joe.
All right, Ryan Chandler reporting from New Orleans. Ryan, thank you. We are learning more this morning about what might have gone wrong in that deadly ship crash into the Brooklyn Bridge. U.S. investigators say the Mexican naval ship had not left dock not even 5 minutes before it struck the bridge, with distress calls going out just seconds before. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda has the latest.
Hey there. Well, the NTSB now has a GO team here on scene, but they're still waiting for permission from Mexican authorities to actually board the ship. Most important, they say, will be examining the ship's rudders, the engine, any possible data recorders on board, plus, of course, interviewing crew members and the ship's captain. But they say what they do know at this point is how quickly the trouble began.
This morning, a new timeline emerging in the catastrophic collision of a ship into the Brooklyn Bridge. NTSB investigators now revealing disaster struck less than 5 minutes after the vessel left. The historic Mexican naval training ship began backing away from a Manhattan pier Saturday at 8:20 p.m. with the help of a tugboat, intending to sail south down the East River and out to sea. But instead, officials say the ship quickly started speeding up in reverse. By 8:24 p.m., a radio call for help went out, and just 45 seconds later...
So there wasn't much of a heads up.
Not much of a heads up at all. And we don't know what other kind of communications were going on at that time.
New York City officials say the ship's captain may have lost control because of a mechanical issue, something the NTSB is looking into, along with the assisting tugboat's exact movements. In a statement to NBC News, New York-based McAllister Towing says one of its vessels assisted the ship as it departed, and after the collision, their crew provided additional assistance. The tall ship's 3 masts sheared off by the underside of the bridge, killing 2 crew members who fell from the upper part of those masts. Among the victims, 20-year-old America Yamilet Sanchez. Her family remembering her as an outstanding student who dreamed of becoming a naval engineer. Some of the remaining crew members were seen climbing the masts Monday, likely securing them before the ship can be moved. As for the 142-year-old Brooklyn Bridge, the FDNY's robotics unit launched drones to survey the damage. The NTSB says there are no signs of structural issues, a major relief just over a year after a massive freighter brought down the Baltimore Harbor Bridge.
After what happened last year in Baltimore, we're very concerned, and that's why we're here.
The NTSB has noted that both the winds and current were moving in the direction of the Brooklyn Bridge, but they tell me not with a strength that likely carried a significant impact. The majority of crew members that had been on board the ship have since returned to Mexico, according to the country's Navy. As for the ship itself, the New York City Emergency Management says it is working on a plan to safely tow it to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Back to you.
All right, Emily, thank you. Much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now. It includes the fresh sanctions against Israel being floated by some top U.S. allies if the nation continues a deadly new offensive in Gaza. First, after the break, a legal victory handed to the Trump administration by the Supreme Court. The Biden-era policy reversal that could lead to more deportations. That's next. Welcome back. The Supreme Court is giving the Trump administration the green light to revoke special legal protections for thousands of Venezuelan immigrants. The High Court granted an emergency application yesterday that was filed by the Trump administration, which could pave the way for some of those migrants to be deported. The court's ruling reverses a Biden-era policy, which was part of the federal temporary protected status program. That policy extended protections to hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans, protections that were set to expire in October of 2026. To break all this down for us, NBC News senior Supreme Court reporter Lawrence Hurley and NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. Good morning to both of you. Lawrence, let's start with you. Just what does this decision yesterday mean for those Venezuelan migrants who do currently have protected status?
Yeah, so the decision basically takes away that protection for almost 350,000 people who are allowed to live and work in the U.S. for this kind of temporary period under this temporary protected status program. There's a lot of legal questions still remaining, though. The lawyers working for immigrant groups were saying yesterday that they think there's going to be a lot of legal fights to come, including over people who have work authorization, who might try to keep it, might try to challenge that. And then a lot of other people may have other claims to try and stay in the country, such as asylum claims that have to be adjudicated. And one lawyer told me that, he thinks there'll be, the Trump administration might think they can summarily deport people now, and so there might be a fight over that, as we've seen in other cases involving Venezuelans. So a lot of moving parts here on this case going forward.
Danny, this could be confusing to a lot of people because we had another decision late last week, Friday. The Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration could no longer deport Venezuelan migrants under the Alien Enemies Act, saying the government had to respect their rights to due process. Then you have yesterday's ruling authorizing the government's ability to revoke special legal protections that have been granted to several Venezuelan migrants. It might seem on the surface these two things contradict each other. Help us make sense of it all.
Removing people under the Alien Enemies Act is a process that exists outside the INA, outside traditional immigration law. So that is a special category. And as we know, it's an incredibly rare category. So we can set that aside for our purposes of discussing the Supreme Court decision. What makes the Supreme Court decision really interesting is this may be a case where the Trump administration has won the battle, and they're probably going to win the war, too. The reason the reason the lower court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals had originally paused this, because, again, this is a pause of a pause. The Supreme Court is pausing the lower court's pause. That's a double negative. That means that the Trump administration gets to do what it originally wanted to do, but only temporarily. Right. But only temporarily, because all of these pauses on pauses delay the ultimate determination, which is probably months, if not years away. But if you're betting, Congress gave the secretary explicit authority to either grant TPS protection, they can giveth, and they can also taketh away. So it may be the case ultimately that the Trump administration will prevail, but we're a long ways from that.
Lawrence, let's talk about big picture here and talk about how the Supreme Court is handling all these cases from the Trump administration. Today marks 4 months since the president began his second term. He has kept the Supreme Court incredibly busy. What are some of the key takeaways from SCOTUS ruling so far?
Yeah, I mean, if you're active on conservative social media, you'll be thinking that the court is ruling against the Trump administration all the time, because there's a lot of very excited tweets and other posts from the president, other people complaining bitterly about these court decisions that have gone against the administration. But if you actually look at the Supreme Court, you had that ruling on Friday you just mentioned on the Alien Enemies Act. That's only really the only significant defeat that they've had at the Supreme Court level. There's been a whole series of these emergency actions that have gone up to the court, and I was just looking at the kind of numbers yesterday, and the Trump administration is winning most of those cases, right? The court allowed them to revoke the TPS yesterday. They allowed them to institute the ban on transgender people in the military. They've allowed them to fire agency officials from independent agencies that were previously protected. They've allowed the Trump administration to fire federal employees, career employees as well. So we've seen a whole host of these cases, and currently they have a winning record. So some of the complaints from kind of MAGA world are maybe a little overinflated.
Danny, I want to ask you about another case that's making some headlines. The U.S. Institute of Peace. The Trump administration tried to take over this agency. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled that takeover was, quote, unlawful. It should be declared null and void. Walk us through this and where this goes from here. I'm guessing perhaps the Supreme Court. We'll see.
It could, yes. So basically, Congress has said that there's a process for dismantling or making these decisions about the U.S. Institute of Peace. And what the judge, Beryl Howell, said is that, well, if you give that job to DOJ, if you say, well, we didn't really do it, DOJ did it, then you can't pass that off to people who are unconstitutionally granted this power that they don't have. So in other words, the dismantling was done by an agency that constitutionally and legally simply didn't have the power to dismantle it in the first place. That doesn't mean that the agency can't be dismantled. It doesn't mean that you can't take adverse steps against a particular agency or an organization, but it means that you have to follow the law when you do it. And by just foisting that onto DOJ as this sort of agency, not an agency when it needs to be, that broke the law. But again, as you said, the final answer remains to be seen.
All right, a lot happening in the courts. Lawrence and Danny helping us understand it all. Thank you both. Let's get to some developing news this morning. Several countries are threatening sanctions against Israel if Israel continues this new ground offensive in Gaza. NBC reporter Matt Bonner joins us from London with that and some other international headlines. Matt, good morning.
Joe, good morning. The UK, Canada, and France have threatened Israel with sanctions if it does not halt its new offensive in the Gaza Strip and lift restrictions on international humanitarian aid deliveries. This comes as a response to Netanyahu's announcement yesterday that Israel is moving forward with an operation to seize control of the entire Gaza Strip and that future humanitarian aid would be distributed by Israel directly. The IDF has blocked entry of medicine, food, and fuel into Gaza since early March as part of its efforts to pressure Hamas into freeing the remaining hostages. Moving along now to Spain, the Consumer Rights Ministry has ordered Airbnb to remove more than 65,000 listings for holiday rentals from its platform as part of a broad crackdown on a business model that locals feel has contributed to the housing crisis in their country. The Consumer Rights Minister says many of them are operating without proper licensing. Housing has become a major political issue. And actually, Barcelona has recently ordered a total ban on vacation rentals by 2028. And we'll wrap up this hour in Panama. Researchers have discovered that a population of monkeys on a small island off the coast of Panama are abducting the babies of another species. The team observed 4 capuchin males stealing at least 11 infant howler monkeys over a 15-month period of study. They found no evidence that the babies were being eaten, cared for, or even played with. They're just taking them and walking around with the infants on their backs until those infants die of neglect. Some of the scientists believe they're witnessing something akin to a cultural fad. Others think we're just witnessing a behavior born of boredom. Back to you.
All right. Maybe someone needs to help the monkeys find a different hobby. All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Agreed.
Coming up, the CEO of CBS News leaving her post after the break, where the media giant's ongoing legal battle with President Trump could have played into her decision to step down. That's next. Stick with us. We are back now with a major television shakeup. CBS News Chief Executive Officer Wendy McMahon has stepped down. Now, she is the second high-profile departure from the network in just the past month. The CBS's parent company contends with a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit from President Trump. CNBC media and sports reporter Alex Sherman joins us now with more on this. Alex, good morning. So Paramount Global co-CEO George Cheeks asked for McMahon's resignation over the weekend. That's according to people familiar with the matter. Walk us through this resignation and just how we got to this point.
Yeah, so tensions have been brewing over the past couple weeks, I'm told, between really it's the Paramount Global board with the intermediary of George Cheeks, who's the Paramount Global co-CEO, and the CBS News division, obviously run by Wendy McMahon. And there's been a number of issues. Sherry Redstone, who is the controlling shareholder of Paramount Global, has been displeased with CBS News' coverage of the Israel-Palestine conflict on several occasions. She's been displeased with the leadership overall of Wendy McMahon and even the performance of CBS News in terms of its own ratings. But really, the key issue here is 60 Minutes, and it has to do with what you just said in the introduction there about President Trump suing 60 Minutes over this interview of Kamala Harris before he was elected president, and wanting a settlement. And the reason that's so important is that Sherry Redstone is trying to merge Paramount Global right now with Skydance Media. If that merger goes through, Sherry Redstone gets more than $1.5 billion. But many feel like a settlement with 60 Minutes has to happen in order for the merger to go through. Now, if that sounds like bribery to you, it sounds like bribery to a lot of people. And in fact, even several senators are now taking a look into this. Even this morning, the Wall Street Journal coming out saying that several senators have penned a letter to Paramount Global to say, look, this sounds a lot like bribery to us. The optics around this don't look good. Now, the FCC has said, no, we are investigating this particular merger. It is separate from the lawsuit. But as with many things in the Trump administration, the lines are blurry.
So, Alex, explain what we think is next for this ongoing litigation between President Trump and CBS, and just explain why this lawsuit has so many people, especially in the media, not to mention, as you mentioned, members of Congress, why they're concerned about this.
Look, again, optically speaking here, what this looks like is a media controlling owner basically selling the news division down the river to try to get this deal done, thinking, look, if this is the thing that needs to happen in order for the Trump administration and the FCC to approve this deal, then I'll do what I have to do. And obviously that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way who work in the journalism industry, because if you're talking about 60 Minutes and you're going to admit wrongdoing, that's a big part of this. When this settlement comes out, what's the language going to be like? Is 60 Minutes going to have to apologize or admit that they did something wrong in the editing of this piece, which, according to them, and you can make your own judgments about it, appears to just be kind of standard editing of any TV interview? Then, there's a risk of kind of full-on mutiny in the news division. Now, it's going to be up, if the deal does go through, it's going to be up to the new leadership, Skydance's leadership, to patch it up, to say, hey, that was the old regime. This is the new regime. CBS News will still exist and it will flourish, but that's going to be a major challenge.
Yeah, and we should note, adding to what you said, many media analysts and legal analysts do believe that the Trump's lawsuit against CBS is meritless, and that is one of the reasons so many people are concerned about this. Alex, appreciate your time and your reporting this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, from the tush push to the Summer Olympics, NFL owners are meeting this week to go over proposals that could change how pro football might look in 2025 and beyond. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung joins us with more on what to expect. Kaylee, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe. So yes, for the next 2 days, all 32 franchise owners will be together at the Spring League meeting to vote on some hot topics that have big implications for the sport, like whether the infamous tush push should be pushed out and if NFL players will be allowed to go after a gold medal.
The schedule is set and football is almost back.
I cannot wait for the NFL. It cannot come any sooner.
But will the 2025 NFL season come with big changes? That's for 32 owners to decide this week as they make some game time decisions. Among them, this controversial play, made famous by the Philadelphia Eagles. Critics named it the tush push. Some say it should be pushed out of the game.
Yeah, I think they should ban it. It's kind of like a cheat code play.
The debate centers around the play's adherence to the rules and player safety. Although last season there were no injuries as a result of the short yardage play. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts staying tight-lipped about his signature formation on Today.
Does it feel kind of good? Thoughts?
No thoughts.
Yeah, no thoughts on that.
Just trying to win the game, that's all.
Also up for a vote, a change to the playoff format. A reseed of teams after the opening round based on their records. For example, last season in the second round of the NFC playoffs, this was how seeding shook out. But if seeding was based on records, the matchups would have been different. And gold medals are also on the line.
This is going to be such a great global experience.
Football getting involved with the Olympics, that's incredible.
The owners will consider allowing active NFL players to participate in the Olympics as flag football makes its debut in the 2028 Summer Games in LA.
How significant would it be for the sport for NFL players to be competing on the Olympic stage?
This has the opportunity to be
the NFL taking this thing truly global, bringing the game to a whole audience that otherwise wouldn't be able to touch it.
A lineup of hot topics on the table that could soon take the field.
So if NFL players are allowed to compete in flag football in the Olympics, as this proposal stands, only one player from each team could participate. The major concern for owners being the risk of injury. But hey, keep in mind, Joe, the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, all of those leagues have found a way to shoulder that risk and allow their athletes to play on the world stage. Now, here's the thing about these meetings. It's just the NFL owners in attendance. You don't have GMs. You don't have head coaches. So when you take into account the owners voting on things like a football play, as the tush-push is, it changes the complexion of the discussions in the room when it's just the owners in there. You need 24 out of 32 for any of these proposals to pass.
I just think it'd be cool to see these players play flag football.
Right? Okay, so Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, two of the biggest stars in the NFL.
Yeah.
Those are two players who have expressed enthusiasm for what this could be like. Can you imagine?
That'd be awesome. And I guess you can get injured in it. So there you go. All right, Kaylee, thank you so much. All right, coming up, obviously, to get to football season, we do have to get through summer first. So if you're looking for that perfect soundtrack for some fun in the sun, Spotify has you covered. Its hotly anticipated Songs of Summer list is out this morning. We're queuing it up for you next. We are back now with some good news for a beloved children's program. Sesame Street just signed a new deal to stream shows on Netflix. But don't worry, episodes will also be available the same day on PBS, too. The deal is good news for Sesame Street, which has been wrestling with a financial crisis.
Sunny days, sweeping the clouds away.
Starting next season, you could say Sesame Street will be brought to you by the letter N.
Shout out to Netflix for saving Sesame Street.
Netflix, with a population of 300 million plus subscribers, will be the new zip code for America's most cherished neighborhood. Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit that produces the show, says with the new partnership, Sesame Street will soon reach more children in more places than ever before.
Elmo and them are keeping their job. Glory!
It's a welcome reprieve for Sesame Street, which for the past decade had a contract with HBO. But that deal was not renewed, creating a lot of financial uncertainty with major layoffs earlier this year, about 20% of the staff, according to some reports. Now Elmo and company can breathe a bit easier.
Elmo wants to say Elmo loves you.
And the show will also still be available on PBS, something important to Sesame Workshop's boss, speaking with Barron's earlier this year.
We want children who can't afford, satellite or cable to also always have access to Sesame Street.
And unlike the HBO deal, new episodes will be released on public television the same day they start streaming on Netflix.
Hello there, my name is Big Bird.
When Sesame Street began, it revolutionized children's TV. But these days, the field of educational programming is much more crowded, from Bluey to Ms. Rachel, who's also on Netflix.
Hi. Hello.
But even after more than half a century on the air, Big Bird and friends are still delighting children all over the world. Kids who will soon have a new way to get to Sesame Street. Now, this new season is going to look a little different. Each episode will focus on just one story instead of two or more stories. You'll see the return of segments like Elmo's World and more animated features, including a segment called Tales from 1-2-3. Some more financial headlines now. Chinese-made iPhones saw their lowest shipments to the U.S. in more than a decade. CNBC's Savannah now has that and some other money news. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Yes, so shipments of Chinese-made iPhones and other mobile devices to the U.S. falling to their lowest levels since 2011 in April, and that's according to customs data. Now, the drop-off is being attributed to the threat of U.S. tariffs, which is upending supply chains and shifting production elsewhere. Apple has sped up moving iPhone manufacturing to India, where smartphone exports have roughly quadrupled over the past year. You know, Atlanta will be the second city after Austin where Waymo's robo-taxi service will be available exclusively on the Uber app. Now, ahead of a public launch this summer, Uber is opening up access to a select group of customers for early test drives. They'll get $10 in Uber Cash to use on their Waymo ride in exchange for providing feedback. Now, after a few weeks, Waymo's robotaxis will be available to anyone with an Uber account who's traveling within a 65-square-mile area. That includes downtown Atlanta. And Spotify says Apple has approved a new app update allowing iPhone users to buy audiobooks directly within the Spotify app. You can also see prices and easily buy additional listening hours beyond the initial 15-hour limit. Now, this long-awaited update follows a recent court ruling ordering Apple to stop charging fees on purchases made outside the App Store. Spotify had removed audiobook purchases in 2022 due to Apple's strict rules, Joe.
All right, a good segue to our next segment.
Yeah.
Savannah, thank you.
You got it.
Speaking of Spotify, that's one of the songs featured on Spotify's 2025 Songs of Summer playlist. The full list officially drops today. Some of this summer's predicted bangers consist of 30 songs, including titles from top artists like Bad Bunny, Charlie XCX, Lady Gaga, Morgan Wallen, and Lorde. This year, there's one genre that Spotify's editors say is really having a global moment, and it's called Afrofusion. Joining me now with more details on this year's playlist is editorial lead for Pop at Spotify, Talia Cranes. Good to have you with us again. This is such a fun thing to dive into. I mean, you guys have a pretty good record of predicting what the biggest songs of the summer are going to be. Let's start with just what are some of the themes that are in this year's playlist?
Yeah, so this year, lots of new themes coming through. As you mentioned, Afrofusion, always big in summer, but I'm really excited about that getting bigger and bigger every year. If last year was all about the rave and kind of chaos, this year we feel a little bit more chill.
Chill.
Hazy summer chill, people watching sunsets, having picnics, listening to songs like the Marias and Raven Lenae. We're hearing love-struck pop songs. People are in love this summer. Alex Warren has this huge song called Ordinary, and then other boys are singing about their crushes and being in love.
That is great. We got dance BPMs, a hazy chill sound. I like that hazy chill sound.
Hazy.
That I think adds another little description to it. How on earth do you narrow it down to just 30 songs every year?
Yeah, so every year, all the global editors, versions of me around the world, come together and pick the songs that they think, A, sound good for summer, they love, and that they're seeing our listeners in different countries listening to. They put all those songs to me, and then a committee of us figure out the ones that are going to be the best that summer and the ones that we really think are going to cross territories. So a song like Ya Baba is a Moroccan song, and we think that could really work in America. So that's exciting. We can see songs moving.
I love how it's so easy to introduce people to new music nowadays as opposed to when I was younger. And if you didn't hear it on the radio, you had to go buy the CD. And so it's so great that you get the opportunity to do that. We saw your list there. What are some of your favorite songs of this summer?
Yeah, so last summer we obviously had this huge Charlie XCX moment with Brat, and he's back again.
Is it Brat Summer again, or are we calling it something different?
I don't know what we're calling it yet, but a song called Party For You, which was off her pandemic album, people found that through the Brat tour. They love it. It's really having a moment this summer. And then there's a song called Love Me Not by an artist, Raven Lenae. She's always been a cool girl. She's been R&B and indie. This song, huge pop song. It's going to be a huge song this summer. I'm so excited for her.
So you featured the Songs of Summer playlist back in 2022. What was the reason you decided to start doing this?
Summer is just a time when people come together and listen to music together, and that's always exciting. And at Spotify, we want to help our listeners find their new favorite songs. As you say, if it isn't out there, we want them to find something new. So we love the vibe of summer. We love doing this prediction list. Last year we had Espresso, we had Birds of a Feather on there. So we have a good track record.
Yeah, those were pretty popular songs, weren't they?
Yeah.
If you could, do you think we could pick one song of the summer this year? Do you think there might be, or is it just a little too early to say?
I think it's a little bit early. These are our predictions, and then we'll be back in the middle of summer with an update.
Okay.
There's some new big songs coming out.
See what else comes
We'll
from
see
there.
what else our listeners are enjoying.
Would songs of winter, would that be harder to do?
I don't know, you're sitting alone in the dark listening to music crying, maybe?
Wrapped in a blanket.
But summer's a bit more of a vibe.
It's basically holiday carols, I guess. So that's how that works.
That's it.
All right. Talia Cranes, great to have you with us. Congrats on the list. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Still to come, protecting the fragile beauty of Mother Nature through eye-catching pieces of man-made art. When Morning News Now returns, the South Florida project that's planting sculptures underwater to help those delicate coral reefs there thrive. Stay with us. That's next. Finally this hour, a new underwater sculpture project hopes to restore and protect the ocean's marine life along Florida's coast. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch went underwater for a preview.
This bustling coral reef is just hundreds of feet from a place already known for vibrant colors, Miami Beach.
These fish themselves are works of art.
Yes. Well, Mother Nature is the ultimate artist, right? What we're doing is giving nature and amplifying that marine habitat because it's needed.
So it used to extend right off Miami Beach, north and south for miles.
With corals struggling worldwide, a South Florida project called The Reef Line hopes underwater art installations will give fish shelter, help corals thrive, and protect the iconic coastline. The publicly accessible sculpture park and snorkel trail expected to stretch roughly 7 miles. We took a deeper dive, exploring how artificial reefs can flourish. This nearly 30-year-old concrete reef off Miami Beach is now teeming with fish. But the Reef Line says it's going further, rescuing dislodged climate-resilient corals so clones can be locked on to its new hybrid reef.
When you put the mask on and you get into the water, it's like time slows down. If more people have that type of opportunity, then that helps change public perception about the need to protect the environment.
A potential conservation roadmap that's underwater. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, off the coast of Miami Beach.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.